Welcome back, everybody, to the deep dive. We are diving into something today that could be a total game changer, and that is photobiomodulation.
Oh, yeah.
Specifically, red light therapy for athletic performance.
Yeah.
Now, I know you guys are all about getting to the heart of the matter
Absolutely.
quickly, and that's exactly what we are going to do. Cut through the noise, and we're going to focus on the most compelling research.
Sounds good.
So, are you ready to unlock your athletic potential?
Absolutely. Let's do it. Let's shed some light, no pun intended,
Okay.
on this exciting field.
So we are basing this deep dive on a really thorough, systematic review published in Lasers in Medical Science.
Okay.
And these researchers, they analyzed a whopping 39 studies with over 861 participants.
Yeah.
Talk about a deep dive.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It's a lot. It really gives us a solid foundation to understand how photobiomodulation could impact your performance.
Yeah, it's a treasure trove of data. And what's fascinating is that a huge majority of these studies showed positive results, suggesting that red light therapy can truly make a difference.
That's incredible. It's not just hype. There's real science backing this up.
Exactly.
Now, before we jump into the specifics, let's talk about why this even matters. You know that feeling after an intense workout? That muscle soreness that makes you walk like a penguin?
We've all been there. Delayed onset muscle soreness, or DOMS, as it's technically called, is a major obstacle for anyone who's active.
Yeah.
It can limit your training, delay your progress, and make those stairs feel like Mount Everest.
I'm pretty sure I've climbed Mount Everest after leg day.
I hear you.
It's rough.
We've all been there.
And we're constantly searching for ways to recover faster and push our limits further. We've tried massage, ice baths, foam rolling, you name it.
All that.
But photobiomodulation, particularly using red light therapy, is emerging as a potential game changer in the world of athletic recovery and performance enhancement.
Absolutely. It's like giving your cells a boost of energy, helping them recover faster and perform at their best.
So how does this all work? Break it down for us. What exactly is photobiomodulation?
Okay, so imagine this. You're shining specific wavelengths of light on your body,
Okay.
and those light photons are absorbed by your cells. This absorption triggers a cascade of beneficial effects like increased energy production, reduced inflammation, and faster tissue repair. It's like photosynthesis for your muscles.
Wow, that's a great analogy. So it's not just any light, it's specific wavelengths that make the magic happen.
You got it. When it comes to athletic performance, the real stars of the show are red and infrared light, specifically those with wavelengths of 635 millimeters and 810 millimeter.
Interesting. Why those specific wavelengths? What's so special about them?
Well, these wavelengths seem to be particularly good at penetrating deep into muscle tissue and stimulating those cellular processes we talked about. You know, energy production, inflammation reduction, tissue repair, all the good stuff that helps you recover faster and perform better.
Okay, so we're shining red and infrared light on our muscles, and it's like a supercharged recovery process. What kind of actual results are we talking about here?
Does it really make a noticeable difference?
So let's dive into some of the findings from that systematic review we mentioned.
Okay.
One of the things that really stands out is the potential for red light therapy to boost your endurance, helping you push those limits further and delay fatigue during your workouts.
Now that's something I think we all want. Tell me more about that. What kind of evidence did they find?
Yeah, so one study in the review looked at how red light therapy affected participants' performance during a progressive cardiopulmonary test. Essentially, they had people exercise until they couldn't anymore.
Okay.
And what they found was that those who received the red light therapy beforehand were able to cover a greater distance and exercise for longer durations compared to those who didn't.
So we're talking about a real increase in how long you can keep going before hitting that wall.
Exactly. It's like extending your gas tank, allowing you to train harder and longer.
That's impressive. But I'm also curious about strength. Does red light therapy have any impact on our ability to build muscle and get stronger? Yeah, there's exciting research suggesting it does. Several studies in the review found that red light therapy can actually lead to improvements in strength. For example, one study looked at something called isometric peak torque, which is essentially a measure of how much force your muscles can generate.
Gotcha.
They found that participants who received red light therapy before doing eccentric exercises, think lowering weights slowly, showed significant improvements in their isometric peak torque, meaning they were able to generate more force.
So you could potentially see noticeable strength gains, even 48 hours after a tough workout, by incorporating red light therapy beforehand.
Precisely. It's like giving your muscles an extra edge.
That's pretty incredible.
Huh.
So we're talking about boosting both endurance and strength. But let's be honest, the part we're all secretly most interested in is recovery. Can red light therapy help us bounce back faster after those brutal workouts?
Absolutely.
Because I'm all for feeling less sore and getting back to my training ASAP.
The research definitely points in that direction. Studies have shown that red light therapy can help reduce those post-workout aches and pains and even speed up the healing process within the muscles.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat.
Ah!
What kind of evidence are we talking about? How does it actually help our muscles recover?
Well, for starters, red light therapy has been shown to help reduce blood lactate levels. Lactate is a byproduct of intense exercise that builds up in your muscles, and it's one of the main culprits behind that muscle soreness.
No, right.
Red light therapy helps clear out that lactate more efficiently, which can lead to less soreness and stiffness.
So it's like flushing out the toxins, helping your muscles recover faster.
Exactly, and it goes beyond just reducing lactate. Studies have also found that red light therapy can help decrease levels of creatine kinase, an enzyme that's released when muscles are damaged.
So less creatine kinase floating around means less muscle damage and faster healing.
You got it. One study even showed that participants who received red light therapy after intense exercise had significantly lower creatine kinase activity compared to those who didn't, indicating less muscle damage.
It's like red light therapy is a superhero for your muscles,
It is.
protecting them from damage and helping them recover faster. This is amazing.
It's pretty remarkable, isn't it?
So it sounds like red light therapy could be the key to unlocking a whole new level of athletic performance and recovery. But is there a catch? Does it work for everyone no matter how much they use it?
That's a great question, and it brings us to one of the most intriguing findings from this review. The idea of a therapeutic window.
Ooh, therapeutic window sounds interesting. What exactly does that mean?
Essentially, researchers have found that there's a sweet spot when it comes to red light therapy. It's not just about blasting yourself with as much light as possible. There's a specific range of energy doses that seem to yield the best results.
Okay, I'm all ears. Tell me more about this sweet spot. What do we need to know to make sure we're using red light therapy effectively?
Well, for smaller muscle groups, like your biceps or calves, doses of 20 to 60 joules seem to be the most effective. For those larger muscle groups, think your quads or glutes, the optimal range seems to be between 60 and 300 joules.
So the size of the muscle group matters when it comes to figuring out the right dose.
Yep.
Got it. Anything else we need to keep in mind?
Power output is also important. Many of the studies that showed positive results used a maximum of 200 milliwatts per diode. So if you're looking into red light therapy devices, you'll want to pay attention to the power output to make sure it falls within that range.
Okay, we've got the wavelengths, the doses, the power output. That's a lot to keep in mind. But there's one more thing I'm curious about: timing. Does it matter when we use red light therapy in relation to our workouts?
Right.
Like, is it better to do it before, after, or maybe even both?
Yeah, that's a question researchers are still exploring. However, the evidence so far suggests that applying red light therapy before exercise might be the most effective for enhancing performance,
Okay.
while applying it after exercise might be better for speeding up recovery.
So it's like a choose-your-own-adventure situation, depending on what your goals are.
Yeah.
Do you want to boost your performance going into a workout or accelerate your recovery afterward?
Exactly.
Having this knowledge is a game changer. Now, I know there's even more research out there on red light therapy and athletic performance. What else did the researchers uncover in their deep dive?
They also look at a range of other variables, including total work, which is basically the overall energy output during exercise, 1RM tests, which measure maximum strength, and markers of inflammation like C-reactive protein or CRP. They were really trying to get a comprehensive understanding of how red light therapy affects the body during and after exercise.
So they weren't just looking at one isolated aspect of performance or recovery. They were taking a holistic view of how this therapy impacts athletes.
Exactly. And while the results were more varied for these measures, the fact that they were investigated at all speaks to the growing interest in research in this area. It's clear that we've only just begun to scratch the surface of what photobiomodulation can do for athletes.
This is all so fascinating. I feel like we've uncovered a hidden gem in the world of athletic performance and recovery. But before we get too carried away, I'd love to hear your perspective. What stands out to you the most from all this research on red light therapy?
Yeah. What truly captivates me is the potential of red light therapy, particularly using red and infrared light for athletes at all levels. The fact that it can potentially enhance endurance, boost strength, accelerate recovery, and even protect your muscles from damage is pretty remarkable.
It's like a performance and recovery powerhouse.
Yeah.
All wrapped up in beams of light.
Exactly. And while more research is always needed, the evidence we have so far is already pretty compelling.
Absolutely. This has been a fascinating deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much. But before we get too lost in the science, let's bring it back to our listener. They're probably thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but what does it mean for me? So what would you say to someone who's intrigued by red light therapy and wants to explore it further?
Yeah, my advice would be start exploring. There are so many resources available now, from scientific articles to online communities, where you can learn more about red light therapy. Do your research, find reputable sources, and most importantly, listen to your body.
That's excellent advice. And as we mentioned earlier, don't hesitate to reach out to a healthcare professional to see if red light therapy is right for you.
All right, let's get granular. Remember how we talked about red light therapy boosting your cells' energy production?
Yes, it was like giving ourselves a power upgrade, right?
Exactly. One study in this review actually looked at how red light therapy affects the activity of an enzyme called cytochrome C oxidase. Now, this enzyme is a key player in your cell's energy production process.
Okay, so it's like the foreman of the cellular power plant, making sure everything runs smoothly. What did they find about this cytochrome C oxidase?
Well, they found that applying red light therapy to rat muscles actually increased the activity of this enzyme.
Wow.
Imagine giving those cellular power plants an upgrade, allowing them to generate even more energy, more efficiently.
Wow, so it's not just a theoretical idea. They actually observed this increase in activity. That's pretty convincing evidence.
It is, and it provides some real insight into how red light therapy works at a cellular level. More energy means your muscles can work harder and recover faster.
It all starts to make sense. Now, another study that caught my eye involved volleyball players. They were given red light therapy before their matches, and the researchers measured their creatine kinase levels. Remember that marker of muscle damage we discussed?
Right, so higher levels of creatine kinase would indicate more muscle damage from those intense matches. What happened with the volleyball players?
The players who received the red light therapy actually showed a smaller increase in creatine kinase compared to those who didn't.
So it's like red light therapy acted as a shield for their muscles, protecting them from damage during those high-impact matches.
That's what the research suggests. And it's not just limited to volleyball. This has implications for athletes across a wide range of sports.
I'm curious, did they look into any other sports?
You know what? You're right. I bet there are. And it's a fantastic area for future research.
Yeah.
Imagine the possibilities. Runners, swimmers, weightlifters, all benefiting from this pregame boost.
It's an exciting thought, isn't it?
It is.
It could change the way athletes prepare for competition.
Absolutely. We've been focusing on the positive side of things, which is awesome, but I do want to touch on any potential drawbacks. Did the researchers find any negative effects associated with using red light therapy?
That's an important point to consider. You always want to make sure you're looking at the full picture. It's worth mentioning that photobiomodulation is a relatively new field of study, so there's always more to learn. However, this particular systematic review didn't highlight any major adverse effects associated with using red and infrared light therapy for athletic performance. Of course, it's always wise to approach any new therapy with caution and consult with your doctor or a qualified healthcare professional.
Absolutely. Especially if you have any underlying health conditions, it's crucial to talk to your doctor first. Now, taking a step back, what would you say are the big takeaways from this deep dive into red light therapy and athletic performance?
For me, the key takeaway is the immense potential of red light therapy, particularly using red and infrared light for athletes at all levels. The research suggests it could be a powerful tool for enhancing endurance, boosting strength, accelerating recovery, and even protecting those hardworking muscles from damage. It's a true game changer.
It really does sound like a performance and recovery powerhouse all in one.
Precisely. And while further research will help us refine our understanding and optimize its use, the evidence we have now is already pretty compelling.
Absolutely. This has been a fascinating deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much. But before we get too lost in the science, let's bring it back to our listener. They're probably thinking, okay, this all sounds great, but what does it mean for me? So what would you say to someone who's intrigued by red light therapy and wants to explore it further?
Yeah, my advice would be Start exploring. There are so many resources available now, from scientific articles to online communities where you can learn more about red light therapy. Do your research, find reputable sources, and most importantly, listen to your body.
That's excellent advice. And as we mentioned earlier, don't hesitate to reach out to a healthcare professional to see if red light therapy is right for you. It's so important to be informed and make choices that align with your individual needs and goals. You know, it's funny, we've been talking about all these amazing benefits of red light therapy for athletes, but it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
what about the rest of us?
Right.
Could this technology have applications beyond just performance and recovery?
That's a fantastic question, and you're absolutely right. The potential applications of photobiomodulation extend far beyond the realm of athletics.
Oh, wow.
Researchers are exploring its use for things like wound healing, pain management, skin rejuvenation, even neurological conditions.
Really. It's mind-blowing to think about all the ways that this technology could improve people's lives.
Yeah.
It's like we've only just scratched the surface of what's possible. But let's bring it back to our listener for a moment.
Right.
They've been with us on this deep dive, absorbing all this incredible information about red light therapy. What's the one thing you would encourage them to do with this newfound knowledge?
If I could offer one piece of advice, it would be this. Don't be afraid to experiment. Find a reputable source for red light therapy, whether it's a clinic or a home device, and see how it feels for you. Pay attention to your body, track your progress, and see if it makes a difference in your recovery, performance, or overall well-being.
I love that. It's all about empowering yourself to take control of your health and wellness. And remember, everyone's journey is different.
Exactly.
What works for one person might not work for another, so it's all about finding what feels right for you.
Exactly.
Well, this has been an absolutely incredible deep dive. I feel like I've gained a whole new perspective on the power of light and its potential to transform our lives.
It's been a pleasure exploring this fascinating topic with you, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning of our journey into the world of photobiomodulation.
I couldn't agree more. There's so much more to discover and learn. And to our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you've enjoyed exploring the science and possibilities of red light therapy as much as we have. Until next time, keep shining bright.